Hello YouTube, it's Rom from Ramen Noodles CCG, and today I'll be bringing you my Altergeist deck profile. So I've been playing Altergeist for a little over a year now. I started playing it a few months after Master Duel came out. Before that I had never tried the deck, but I've always been curious about it. I'm a big DZ fan, so I've seen all of his Altergeist deck profiles, and I really thought the deck looked cool. So after trying it in Master Duel and seeing the new support in Duelist Nexus, I started playing it in paper, and I've been really enjoying it. So I wanted to share my build with you all today. So, let's get started. For the Altergeist monsters, I am playing 3 copies of Meliseek, 3 copies of Marionetter, 3 Multi-Faker, 2 Pukari, 2 Mulwisp, and then 1 Silquitous, and 1 Conqueree. So, Meliseek and Marionetter are your main normal summons. When Meliseek is sent from the field to the graveyard, it searches an Altergeist monster. This is important to start your combos because you can link off Meliseek for a link 1 and then play from there. It's also good at breaking boards because it can attack directly, and when it does this, it will inflict battle damage to your opponent and trigger the effect to target a card your opponent controls and send it to the graveyard. Non-destruction removal is pretty good. Marionetter sets an Altergeist trap from your deck on normal summon, and it can send an Altergeist card you control to the graveyard to revive an Altergeist from your graveyard. Now, this can either send itself, or it can send Altergeist monsters, or the spells and traps it sets, but it has to be a face-up card. But I'll get to that in a moment. There's a bunch of combos that involve this. Mulwisp is one of the newest cards from Duelist Nexus. It's just incredible. Upon being added to your hand, it special summons itself, and then on summon, it summons an Altergeist monster from your graveyard in defense, but negates the effects. So you can't activate Multi-Faker, for example, but you can activate something like the Meliseek Search effect, if that makes any sense. You play 2 Mulwisp because you go through 2 throughout the game. You don't want to draw this card, you want to search it off of Meliseek. It's a bit of a brick to draw, but you do need multiple of it, because again, you use multiple throughout a game. And you can put it back in your deck and then research it. There's a lot of interesting interactions where you add this to your hand, but I'll get to that in a bit. I am also playing 2 Pukari. Pukari is the in-archetype microcoder, so you can use it from your hand as link material for an Altergeist link, and once per duel, when an Altergeist monster is link summoned, you can add this card from your graveyard back to your hand. The graveyard add effect is really useful for chain blocking. For example, when you use it with Meliseek, you can link these 2 off, trigger the Meliseek as chain link 1, and the Pukari as chain link 2 to chain block the Meliseek search. Quality extender there. We are playing the 1 Silquitous. This bounces an Altergeist card to your hand, and then bounces an opponent's card. Now, there's a lot of interesting interactions with Silquitous. For example, you can bounce Mulwisp to trigger the Mulwisp because it is added to your hand. It's really funny. This card is really cool. There's a lot of really skillful interactions that you can do with Silk. Multi-Faker is just the best Altergeist card, genuinely. So if you activate a trap in a new chain, Faker will trigger in your hand to summon itself, and then upon being special summoned, Faker will special summon an Altergeist from your deck, but it locks you into Altergeist when it uses this second effect. This used to be on the ban list for a while. It's a really strong card. You can summon something like Meliseek off of it if you're doing it in your opponent's end phase to start comboing on your next turn, or you can summon Silk off of this. There's a lot of interesting interactions. For example, if you have infinite impermanence, you can imperm summon Faker, and then Faker summon Silk. Silk bounce Faker, bounce a card your opponent controls. It's really crazy. We would never play less than 3 Faker. Kunkery is the archetypal battle fader. When your opponent's monster declares an attack while you control an Altergeist card, she can special summon her from herself from the hand, and upon being special summoned, she can target a face-up card your opponent controls and negate it. This is not once per turn, so you can bounce it with Silk and then use the effect again. If you need to negate something your opponent has, you can also summon this off of Multi-Faker, which I find really funny. Just Multi-Faker summon Conk, and then just game. So moving on from the Altergeist monsters, we are playing some Altergeist trap cards. This is very much a trap deck, and we have some archetypal traps to talk about. So we are playing the 1 Altergeist Haunted Rock, the 1 Altergeist Protocol, and the 2 Altergeist Manifestation. Now, Altergeist Haunted Rock is very much a brick, but it's a combo piece. So if it's set by Marionetter, you can flip it up immediately. In order to activate it, you need to send an Altergeist monster from your hand to the graveyard. That's why it's a bit of a brick, because if you don't, it's not great. This is really only good for the 2 card combos it enables with Marionetter plus other Altergeist cards. It's a trap negate, but it also requires you to discard. So you have to discard to activate it, and then discard to activate the trap negate effect. It's really bad. It sucks to draw, but I think it's really important for your combos. So we play the 1. We play the 1 Protocol. This has a continuous effect to prevent your Altergeist cards on the field from being negated. That includes activations and effects, and it's also a monster negate. You can send an Altergeist card you control to the graveyard to negate a monster effect your opponent activates and destroy it as a once per turn. Protocol is insane. Before Duelist Nexus, we used to play 2 Protocol, but now we cut this down to 1 because it's super searchable through the combo. Like, you will have access to multiple Altergeist traps through your combo. So we are playing 2 Altergeist Manifestation. This is the Revival Trap, and it recycles your traps from the graveyard by banishing itself to add an Altergeist trap back. So Manifestation is a lot better than the other Reborn trap. I'm not playing Altergeist Revitalization, that's the new one. I find Manifestation a bit more versatile because it doesn't have to revive Link monsters. It can revive any Altergeist monster, which comes up a lot. Also, keep in mind that this card is not it's not a continuous trap. So the clause that destroys the monster when this card leaves the field only applies after the effect is finished resolving. So if you activate Manifestation and chain Silk to bounce the Manifestation will return to your hand, but the monster is still summoned. So yeah, there's a lot of interesting interactions with that. Now moving on to some consistency, we are playing 3 copies of Personal Spoofing and 3 copies of Pot of Prosperity. Now, Pot of Prosperity is really good in this deck. You don't need all of your extra deck cards, but you have a lot of important extra deck 1-ofs that you don't want to banish. And this just helps consistency out quite a lot. Altergeist can be a little bricky, but this helps alleviate that quite a bit. It's far better than Extravagance. And we also have 3 copies of Personal Spoofing. Sadly, this is an Altergeist card in everything but name. It does not have Altergeist in the name, so you can't set it off of Marionetter, which is a bit sad, but it's a very good card regardless. It shuffles an Altergeist card from your hand or field into the main deck and adds an Altergeist monster from your deck to your hand. Now, spoofing can help you dodge targeted effects on your Altergeist monsters on field. Like, for example, if your opponent tries to imperm your multi-faker, you can spoofing shuffle it back, and then the faker will resolve. You can also spoofing shuffle back manifestation, and the manifestation will still resolve. It's really good. When you flip up spoofing, faker will trigger, but keep in mind that if you activate spoofing on field after it's already been flipped face up, faker will not trigger upon the searches of spoofing. It only triggers when it's activated. Spoofing is really good for looping Maulwisp. That's just insane. You can just search Maulwisp every turn, summon it, and then summon back something. It's just really insane. It's a bit slow, but Altergeist in general is a bit slow, so it's fine. Now moving on to some generic cards, we are playing some hand traps in Ash Blossom and Imperm. These are the most generic hand traps of the format. Regardless of how good or bad Imperm is in a format, you have to play it in Altergeist just because of how well it synergizes with multi-faker. Imperm Faker is like the dream combo going second. We are playing some more generic traps. We are playing 3 evenly matched, 3 solemn strike, and some board wipes. So evenly matched helps you go second, and it also synergizes with multi-faker. You can drop evenly on your opponent and then trigger faker at the end of the battle phase, either getting Silk if you need to clean up the last card that they control, or getting Meliseek to start comboing off in main phase 2. Now, you could side the evenly matched, but I like maining it just because Altergeist struggles a bit going second. So it's nice to main. Even if you're going first, sometimes you can keep your cards close to your chest, and then evenly your opponent when they're going second, which is really cool. Sometimes like you just set a couple cards in pass and you can just accept the evenly and then wipe some stuff during the battle phase and just kind of chill. It's a very good card. But if you don't want to main it, I would definitely recommend siding the evenlies. Solemn Strike is a very good trap card in general. Having a monster negate is really good. It's good going first and going second. It pairs nicely with your other traps. It also stops your opponent from negating your stuff. Like, for example, if they try to Ash your spoofing, you can strike it. If they try to Ash your multi-faker, you can strike it. It's just really good negation. And lastly, we're playing some board wipes. Now, I'm playing 2 Karma Cannon and 1 Torrential. I've been back and forth on these ratios a lot. These are both very good cards. They're good in slightly different situations. Karma Cannon is a bit better just in general in today's meta. For example, against Unchained, you don't want to torrential them. That would be really bad. But I like Torrential slightly better going second, just because clearing the board is really important. Karma Cannon doesn't clear some boards. It just flips everything face down. You're usually able to clear a board of face down monsters, but if you get hand trapped while you're trying to go for your Memory Yant OTK to clear the board of set monsters, you could be in some serious trouble. Like if your opponent has Nibiru, that's just game over, because it doesn't tribute their face down board, but it tributes your face up stuff while you're trying to go for Memory Yant. So yeah, that's why I do play Torrential Tribute instead of just 3 Karma Cannon. So yeah, that's the main deck. Let's move on to the extra deck. Moving on to the extra deck, we have the 3 honorary Altergeist cards in the Link 1s. We play Link Haribo, Anima, Almirage. So Altergeist doesn't have its own Link 1. So you need something to link the Meliseek off to start your combos. Linkuriboh is the main guy. The battle phase effect comes up surprisingly often. It's just protection for your guys from battle, and if you have a Meliseek on the board, tributing it to summon the Linkuriboh comes up surprisingly frequently. It just gets you another search, which is a really interesting play. Comes up. Anima. When your opponent plays into the Anima zone, it's really nice. Sometimes certain Link monsters are forced to point down towards you, so you can Anima take them, like Access Code or Appaloosa, so it comes up. But I do banish this off Prosperity sometimes. Almirage also comes up. For the protection effects, especially going second sometimes, obviously you link off your Meliseek for this, and then when you're making a Link 2, you can protect the Link 2 that you make with the Maulwisp and the Meliseek you get on the board. So we're playing the Altergeist links. So for the Altergeist links, we are playing 3 Hextia, 1 Prime Banshee, 1 Memory Gant, 1 Adminia. Now, Altergeist Hextia is the main card in the extra. We're playing 3 of it. It's very standard. It gets big. It boosts itself by the attack of the Altergeist monsters it points to. This comes up a bunch for OTKs, especially with the Memory Gant OTK, which I'll talk about later. And it's a non-once per turn spell trap negate by attributing monsters that it points to, Altergeist monsters it points to. Prime Banshee is a combo enabler. Basically, when you're link climbing, you link off Hextia into Prime Banshee, you get your Hextia search, and then you can Prime Banshee tribute off another thing to get an Altergeist from your deck. And then you can link off the Prime Banshee, and then get the add back from Prime Banshee. I played 2 for a while, but I literally never summoned the second one, so I cut it. Memory Gant is the OTK enabler. It gets really big. During the battle phase, you tribute an Altergeist monster to gain its attack from the field. So when you have Hextia pointing to Memory Gant, you can attack with the Hextia for 4,300, and then you can Memory Gant tribute Hextia, boosting Memory Gant up to 7,100. And if your opponent has multiple monsters on the board, you kill the first one, use the Memory Gant effect to pop the second one, and then you can swing again, which is insane. This wins games a lot. And then we have the 1 Adminia. Got the nice 25th century secret rare, quarter century secret rare, excuse me. So Adminia sets an Altergeist spell trap from your deck, or trap, excuse me, there are no Altergeist spells, but sets an Altergeist trap from your deck on summon, and then it can send a card you control to the graveyard as a quick effect to take a monster your opponent controls and treat it as an Altergeist monster. This effect is just incredible. It comes up a lot. It's a really, really good interruption that we don't see often. Just like being Crackdown is ridiculous, to be honest. It's a really nice boss for the deck. I only play the 1 because you only need the 1. I've never summoned a second one. So yeah. What I cut the second Prime Banshee for was the single copy of Altergeist Dragvirian. When it is tributed, it comes back. That's basically all it does. It's necessary for one specific combo that uses Prime Banshee to tribute the Dragvirian, and then it comes back. You basically use this as 2 tributes for Hextia, so you have 2 Hextia negates. I'll show you the combo later. It results in 1 extra Hextia negate, which is really cool. It only comes up in that 1 combo, so if you don't open that combo, you can just banish this off Prosperity. I didn't have this for a while. It never really came up, but when I was making the profile, I'm like, dang, I do need to show off that combo. I need myself a copy of this card. So, shoutouts to Josh, a local Altergeist player who hooked me up with this card from his bulk. Really appreciate it, man. And now the other synchro, we are playing Herald of the Arclight. Keep in mind that Mulwisp is a tuner, so you can tune Mulwisp and Meliseek to make Arclight. It's just like a guy. It's also a negate. It's a really nice negate, and it's Macrocosmos, which can be really annoying for some decks to out. Especially if you back it up with a Linkuriboh. Like, you can make Linkuriboh Herald, and that just hoses some decks. Now, onto some generic links. We are playing the 1 SP, the 1 Dark, the 1 Selene, and the 1 Access Code. Now, SP is a house, especially in this deck. You make it extremely easily. So you can just go SP pass off of 1 card, and it's really good to just sit on SP plus a bunch of traps. It's just incredible. Shoutouts to Adam. I won this in a bet from him at Locals, so I really appreciate that that offer there. I'm very happy that I have this card. Dark and Selene help you link climb. You don't play basically any spells in Altergeist, so you're relying on your opponent to have spells to go Dark, Selene, Access Code. I've never summoned Access Code in this deck, but I have a feeling that now that SP is in the format, I'm going to be using Dark to like summon an opponent's SP and like making Access Code a lot more often to finish games. Access Code is just a really nice finisher to have. You can banish it off Prosperity if you don't think you're going to need it. Yeah, these are kind of Prosperity fodder, except the SP. You don't banish an SP off Prosperity. On to the side deck. In the side, we're playing more hand traps because I wasn't playing a lot of those in the main. I wanted to have some of the most high impact hand traps I could think of, so we are playing Droll, Nib, and Shifter. Yes, this deck can play Shifter. It's like not a Shifter deck per se. It plays Shifter about as well as Sprite plays Shifter, if that makes sense. You don't like Shifter, but you can side it and bring it in matchups that really don't like Shifter. It kind of impedes your combos, so you have to take it slow when you use Shifter. I usually only side it in going second, but you theoretically could side this in going first if your opponent is playing like Virtual World or a deck that just folds instantly to Shifter. Yeah, it's a good card. Nib is really high impact. Droll is really good. These cards just kind of win the game in a lot of matchups, so you just kind of side them in accordingly. Now, you may have noticed a certain card was missing from my main deck. An Altergeist staple you never want to go without. I am playing the 3 copies of Solemn Judgment in the side. Solemn Judgment is a key card in Altergeist decks ever since Altergeist has been a thing. It's always been a good home for Solemn Judgment. Pairs well with Multi-Faker. The negation is really good going first. I didn't main the Judgments because it's really bad going second. So I opted not to main them, but I like them in the side deck. For a while, I was playing Crossout Designator in the side instead of these next 3 cards, but Crossout Designator massively underperformed. It was real bad. So I decided to replace them with 1 Metaverse, 1 Secret Village, and 1 Called by the Grave. So Metaverse is a trap card that searches Secret Village, or activates it from the deck, rather. So this triggers Faker, which is why we're playing it. This is essentially Secret Village number 2. You side this in going first. Your entire deck is spellcasters, so this is just better anti-spell for us. We literally only play 3 spells in the deck, so this doesn't hurt us at all. And Called By is just really good. It's a solid staple. You could main the Called By, but I couldn't find space for it. I like it as a nice side deck one-of. A lot of decks this format don't like getting Called By. Like, it's a okay going second card in some matchups, like Tearlaments, for example. Unchained as well doesn't like getting hit by Called By, so it's nice to side on it against those decks, and also decks that play a lot of hand traps. So yeah, that was the deck. I'm going to show you a few combos. So we can start out by normal summoning the Meliseek, making a Linkuriboh, triggering Meliseek Search, grabbing Melwisp. Melwisp will trigger because she was added to the hand, and then Melwisp will trigger on summon to bring back the Meliseek. Now, there's a couple of ways you can do this here, and it's going to be hand dependent. So you could make SP Little Knight here and just chill like this. During your opponent's turn, you'll be able to Linkuriboh effect Tribute Meliseek to get a Meliseek search. Usually for something like Multi-Faker or Marionette, something like that. So you have that, but depending on your hand, a lot of times it's more optimal to make to link these two off for Hextia and then make Little Knight. And you can get your Hextia search for something. So if you already have Multi-Faker in hand, you can grab something like a Protocol. If you have Manifestation in hand, you can grab Multi-Faker. We will start by normal summoning the Marionette, activating her effect. Now, in days of old, we would just be grabbing Protocol here and then making Hextia and passing. But now that we have new support, we can extend a lot farther. We'll be setting Altergeist Haunted Rock from the deck, activating the Haunted Rock, discarding Pukri, activating Marionette to send the Haunted Rock to summon Pukri. Can link summon Altergeist Hextia. We will be activating the Pukri to add back to hand. We can link summon using the Pukri in hand and the Hextia on field to make Altergeist Prime Banshee. We will be triggering the Hextia to get a search. We will be grabbing Altergeist Melwisp. Now, since Melwisp was added to the hand, we can activate her effect to summon herself. You can go Melwisp effect, summon back, anything really, it doesn't matter too much. Now we can go Altergeist Prime Banshee effect. Special summon Multi-Faker from the deck. Multi-Faker will trigger. And now we get to special summon Altergeist Meliseek. Now, here's where things get a bit odd. There's a couple of different ways we can do this. We can make Hextia here, trigger the Meliseek to search. We could search any number of things, really. I think in this situation, it might be better just to grab Conquering, which is kind of interesting, just for the battle protection. Gets a little bit funky here, but yeah. Now we can make Admin. We will be triggering the Adminia as... we will be triggering Prime Banshee as Chainlink 1, and Adminia as Chainlink 2. Adminia will be setting Altergeist Manifestation from the deck. And Prime Banshee will be adding back the Multi-Faker. Now, we don't get both traps here, but you have the option of either going for Manifestation or going for Protocol. Now, I like Manifestation. It gets you extra Hextia negates, which is pretty cool. So we have multiple Hextia negates, the Adminia Steel, and the Multi-Faker activation to summon Silk from the deck. Now we want to start by normal summoning Meliseek. linking these two off into Hextia. We will trigger the Meliseek as Chainlink 1 and the Pukari as Chainlink 2 to chainblock the Meliseek search. As one does, off of the Meliseek, we will be grabbing Malwisp. We will trigger the Malwisp. Special, trigger the Malwisp again. Special. We'll be making Prime Banshee. Trigger the Hextia to search. We will be grabbing Altergeist Manifestation. Now, if our opponent drops Nibiru here, we can go Prime Banshee Effect, summon Prime Banshee Effect Tribute Malwisp, and then grab Multi-Faker, which is actually what we'll be doing right now. So in the event that our opponent has nibbed us, these two will be in the graveyard. We still get the Prime Banshee, add back Multi-Faker, and then we get Faker and Manifestation, so we can Manifestation back the Hextia, and then have multiple interruptions going to the next turn with the Silk and the Hextia. But in the event that we are not Nibiru'd, the Multi-Faker will grab us a copy of Marionetter. Now we can Marionetter Effect. Go for Multi-Faker and Hextia. We'll bring back the Hextia. Let's put it in this zone. I like arranging it like this. And now we will link summon Altergeist Adminia. Let's put her over here, shall we? So we will be triggering the Prime Banshee as Chainlink 1 and the Adminia as Chainlink 2. Chain blocking the Prime Banshee effect to play around things like Ghost Bell and Skullmeister, I suppose. So we will be Adminia setting Protocol from the deck. And Prime Banshee adding back Multi-Faker. Now, in this scenario, we will be setting Manifestation. Now, on our opponent's turn, we can flip up the Manifestation. Special summoning Prime Banshee. Now we have one Hextia negate, so we fire the Hextia negate, and then Prime Banshee will trigger again, grabbing Malwisp. Malwisp will summon. Malwisp will effect, bring back Meliseek. Now we have another Hextia negate, and we'll get a Meliseek search, and then we have the Protocol, so we can summon Faker. So we have 3 Hextia negates, and the Faker will summon Silk. And we also have the Adminia Steal. So we could theoretically Adminia steal something into the Hextia zone, because Adminia makes whatever she steals an Altergeist. So we have 3 to 4 Hextia negates, the Silk bounce, and the Protocol negate. That is a pretty fine end board, if I do say so myself. Now, we will normal summon the Marionetter, activate her effect, get Haunted Rock discard Meliseek, Marionetter target Haunted Rock, bring back the Meliseek, link summon Hextia, trigger Meliseek, grab Malwisp, Wisp, go for Prime Banshee here. We will Hextia search, Manifestation. Now we will Prime Banshee effect, tribute Malwisp. Go for Multi-Faker effect. Be grabbing Pukari. Now from here we will be link summoning Hextia. We can trigger Pukari here to get the add back. Now we can link these two away into Adminia. Triggering Prime 1, Admin 2. Grabbing Protocol and Faker. Now I can set our back row here. Well, the admin sets the Protocol, but you get the idea. So on our opponent's turn, we can flip up the Manifestation. bringing back the Hextia. Now we have the 2 spell trap negates right now that we can use in the same chain in a pinch. We don't want to tribute off the admin, but we can if we need to. But the main idea is that we have these 2 Hextias pointing to each other, so we can go Hextia, tribute Hextia. Hextia effect can grab ourselves a Malwisp. Now Malwisp will summon, Malwisp will bring back the Meluseek, and then we have Hextia that contribute the Meluseek. Yeah, so we get another negate, and then we get a Meluseek Surge. And then we also have the Protocol negate, and we have the Multi-Faker activation that can bring out Silk from the deck. We'd probably do it like this. But yeah, it's a very strong combo here. We'll start as we usually do with normal summon Mario. Effect set Haunted Rock. Rock discard Faker. Mario summon Faker. We will trigger the multi-Faker to summon Meluseek. Now, here's where things get a little bit specific. We want to link these 2 off, not the Meluseek, into Hextia. Now, this plays around Nibiru the best because we want to not get the Meluseek search until now. That way we make Prime Banshee as summon 5. So we will trigger the Meluseek as Chainlink 2 and the Hextia as Chainlink 1. Searching in sequence. Malwisp and Manifestation. Now we will Malwisp summon. Malwisp effect, bring back multi-Faker specifically. And now here we can Synchro summon to Altergeist Dragvarian. Now we can Prime Banshee effect. Tribute Dragvarian to summon Pukri. Dragvarian effect brings itself back. Now we can make ourselves Hexia and Pukri effect. Add back. Now Pook and Prime. We'll summon Adminia, so we will trigger in sequence the Prime Banshee and the Adminia. Setting Protocol from the deck, and adding back ourselves a multi-Faker. Now, this is extremely similar to the other combo. Set ourselves some back row here, except we have 1 extra Hextia negate. So on our opponent's turn, we will Manifestation, bring back Hextia as we usually do. Now, in this scenario, when we Hextia negate a spell trap, Hextia will trigger searching Malwisp. Malwisp effect will summon. Bring back Dragvarian. Now, when we Hextia negate, Dragvarian will trigger, summoning ourselves back. So now we have an extra negate in addition to the interruptions we had from the previous combo. And yes, this is basically the only scenario in which Dragvarian comes up, but extra negates are extra negates. Thanks for watching my Altergeist deck profile. I wanted to have this video out earlier, but I waited a bit until after I got back from YCS Richmond. I was going to play in some side events with Altergeist in case I didn't do well in the main. I did really bad in the main. I also did bad with Geist in the side events, so yeah, that was not good. But I did get this. I got my memory gant signed by Doug Zeef himself, so it's pretty sick. So yeah, if you want to see more content, I'd really appreciate it if you like the video and subscribe to the channel so you can stay up to date when I drop my next video. Have a great day. Thank you.